You know when you hear the banjos, you know what time it is. It's time for the Touchdown Hoedown, which is this show. If you don't know, I'm your host, Degenerate75, who is a high-limit DFS player who focuses exclusively on football and golf. And if you don't know, this is NFL football. But I do college football and I do some golf. If you like the cut of my jib, come check out the schedule. The big guy stays busy. I'd appreciate it. Hey, something real quick before I forget. Make sure to go leave a comment on this video. Just any damn comment. Something nice preferably, but just leave a comment, engage. And I'm going to be doing a $100 drawing on this show next week, on my college football show next week, on the live golf stream next week. If you go like and retweet, you get in there. If you leave a comment, you get on there. If you leave a comment on all 4 videos, and there you'll get 5 names on the wheel. Just a free $100. I'm just going to PayPal you $100. I'm going to do 4 drawings, sponsored by my man Nuggets. Much appreciated. So get in the comments, and I'll just give you $100. Or maybe we'll do like a big $200 single entry together. Whatever you want to do. I don't care. I'm just down for it. Let's get going, man. The first thing we always talk about on Final Thoughts is contest selection. I will die on this hill. This big $20 tomorrow, the Millionaire Maker, don't play in it. There you go. I mean, if you want to have some fun, go ahead. But like if you're trying to make your bankroll last and be sustainable in the long run, you got to stop playing in these. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Really try something different this week. If you haven't been having a lot of luck this week, really narrow it down. Instead of playing your 3 or 4 stacks and playing 20, 40, 60 lineups, whatever you play, try just 3 lineups all week, right? And just play 1 stack and play 3 variations of it, right? Like if you love a Patrick Mahomes stack this week, all right, well, go play Mahomes and stack him with Kelsey and Juju. Then run another one with just him and Juju or whatever you want, right? And just run 3 variations of that stack and really condense your player pool. Now, when you do that, yes, you're not going to be able to get exposure to every player you want, right? You're going to have a lot of FOMO, fear of missing out. You're going to be like, oh, but I've got to play Dameon Pierce this week. He might go off. Okay, well, then play him. But then basically know when you play him that you're giving up on playing guys like Saquon and Kamara and guys like that, and really commit to your picks. Because in the long term, if you condense your pool and play tight player pools, when you do hit once, maybe twice a season, you'll really hit the nuts. Plus, if you're playing in fewer lineups, you can enter the more high limit contest, the single entries. Instead of going and putting 5 lineups in the $20, just go do the $100 single entry this week, right? Or go do a couple $50 single entries and really condense your player pool down and get good lineups. And now you don't have to hit the stone cold nuts like you do in the Millionaire Maker. You just have to hit a really good lineup and you can win multiple thousands of dollars. I'm telling you to try it. It is a good play in the long run. Okay, if you're okay with blowing through your $100 every week and always depositing, well, then don't even listen to this part. But for you people that are getting tired of it and it's like week 10, you've already blown through your yearly bankroll, I'm telling you, contest selection is where it's at and where you could save so much money. So that is my lesson for you today. Try 3 maxes, try some single entries, only play 1 stack. I'm telling you just to try it if you need something new to get you out of a rut. Hey, speaking of a contest, you want to play in a contest? Go throw your best lineup in this bad boy. It's the DGen75 contest. Winner just gets a free Millionaire Maker ticket on me that we will build together, and I'll split the prizes with you. Pretty badass deal. No strings attached, no email, no anything. You just fucking go enter it, right? That's it. That's all you got to do, and you're in there with me. You can see, here's the contest last week. Hello, Dustin won. Me and him are doing a Millionaire Maker contest lineup tonight. We're going to build it together and enter it tomorrow, so hopefully me and him are half a millionaires tomorrow. We'll have to see. Hey, while you're here, channel growing fast. We're well on our way to 2,000. Go give me a like and a sub, brother. I'd appreciate it. All right, I think the first thing we got to talk about this week is weather, because weather is, like it's, if you can't tell, it up and became winter overnight, motherfather, and it got cold, and Buffalo is one in particular where there's going to be some snow, and you're probably thinking to yourself, they're used to snow up there, they play it all the time. That's a good point. But if you don't know, there's a very good chance Josh Allen's not playing. And if I've got Case Keenum and I need a reason to get off of him, well, first of all, I think the Bills are going to play, not, running and gunning and slinging around like they do with Josh Allen, because Case Keenum ain't Josh Allen, dude. And second of all, when I have to factor in weather, that really makes me colder on the Bills. You see what I did there? So that's something to consider, right? Cold doesn't bother me, but when I start to see cold and moisture, I'm out. I'm out like a fat kid in dodgeball, right? And it also makes games in the dome a little bit more appealing. Give me some Rams, some Raiders. You know what? I've heard the air conditioning keeps it real nice in there. So that's just something to look at. Most of the places don't have deal breaker weather. No real high winds anywhere. It is weird that they put the wind on here for Las Vegas, even though it's in a dome. Whatever. All right, let's get to it. This is Run the Sims. This is where I think it's the best tool-assisted site out there. I use it. Let's just look at who's going to be the mega chalk this week. I'm seeing Dameon Pierce might get over 40%. At that, I'm just happy to fade him. I get that I actually really like Dameon Pierce. I think he's a really good running back. I have him all over my best ball lineups. But at 40%, I can find other guys to play. It's not like he's, $5,000 and he just makes the rest of your lineup a piece of cake. 6,300 is not exactly a free square. As you can see, his leverage, his optimal rate's only 18%. So, he's going to be like a really negative leveraged play. Maybe be underweight on him. For me, I'm just going to full fade him because I'm probably only going to do 5 lineups this week, 1 stack, just like I was telling you, put it in all the high dollar single entries, multiple variations of my 1 stack, and just hope that the stack hits, and then I have that right variation and try to take down a GPP. That's my strategy this week. I've been doing it the past 2 weeks. It's been working well, so we're going to stick with it, brother. You can see other ones, mainly, this Detroit-Chicago game. There's going to be a lot of chalk in that. Travis Etienne is just mega chalk every game now. So that's just your overall chalkiest guys. But let's go break this down per game, by game. There we go. The first one will start out with Buffalo and Minnesota. I think all the news here, this would be shootout city type game, right? Minnesota playing from behind. I would love a Kirk Cousins stack here, chasing the Bills. But if Josh Allen's going to be out, which it appears, you got to imagine the Bills are going to err on the side of caution here. If he's out, you're going to have Case Keenum at quarterback, who's actually a very serviceable NFL quarterback. But I just don't think the Bills are going to be up-tempo and aggressive and chunking the ball down the field like they do with Josh Allen. And because of that, that makes them a lot less appealing. If I'm going to go get in this game, I want to go grab some pieces that are going to be less owned that still have high upside. Like, go give me a Devin Singletary. Maybe they just run the ball a lot tomorrow, and maybe Devin Singletary finds the box once or twice and get you a 100-yard bonus. And he always gets a few catches every game. I will say this. If you do want to run a Case Keenum stack, you're not scared off by the slower nature of the Bills and the weather, well, then I would say a Case Keenum stack, and then you run it with Devin Singletary and maybe Stephon Diggs. That is a stack not many people are going to have, and it's actually relatively cheap seeing you have Diggs in it, right? That's a pretty cheap start to a stack. On the other side, the Vikings, they just don't ever make sense, do they? By the way, if you do run that Bills one, please run it back with Justin Jefferson. He's in that game stack. You would want Justin Jefferson running it back, keeping the pace of the game up. I would say this: that I want Minnesota to be so good. I keep. Every week I go look at them. I'm like, I should run a Viking stack. And every week I don't. And then I'm happy because they just don't get there. There's just something a little off with them. For a team that has so many great weapons on offense, they just don't seem to be getting there. The Bills play good defense, especially at home. I just don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it, but I could get why you would. Here's one of the 2 mega chalk games this week. It's so hilarious that the Bears have now become the fantasy darlings of DFS, where 2 weeks ago, if you played a Bear, you were like a fucking moron. And now it's like, if you don't play Justin Fields, you're a moron. Okay, well, Justin Fields probably going to be the highest owned quarterback on this slate. I feel pretty confident in that. Him or Mahomes, right? But probably Justin Fields. And Justin Fields makes more sense. He gives you the running upside, and you're getting about, a $1,500 discount on him. And he's been great the last couple weeks, right? He really seems to be finding his stride, pun intended. Now, here's the problem with Justin Fields. His ownership is ridiculous. I think in single entries, he's going to push 25%. And once again, at $6,500, he's not the free square he used to be when he was $5,000. Second of all, he's not the easiest guy to stack, right? Outside of Mooney or Kmet, and even those two, do you really love a stack with Justin Fields? And then do you want to just run him naked? Because then, if you're cashing in on that stack and you run him naked, well, now you're not cashing on stack because he's only getting there by himself, right? So he becomes very, very hard to stack. Even a Khalil Herbert is somebody that you could maybe stack him with, or David Montgomery or something like that, but it's just so damn hard to stack. I wish this were college football. Then you can just run 2 quarterbacks. That's where it's at. So if you do, the nice thing is the Lions do have nice run backs, right? Amon-Ra finally looks healthy again. He is very, very very appetizing in this game as a run back or a standalone or just a correlation play. But Jamal Williams being so high, I don't know, man. I'm seeing that Swift is back. He's playing. They're going to increase his role this week. At some point, they're just going to have Dan Campbell's going to realize his ass is going to get fired if he doesn't get his best player on the field. And DeAndre Swift is going to get a bigger load. So Jamal Williams chalk, I'm glad to fade because I think DeAndre Swift's going to be back. If this is going to be the chalky game, I'll get my money in elsewhere because I see 2 other games that I'm very fine getting it in if people want to go play these garbage teams. All right. Cleveland, Miami, a nice big total. And if you don't know, it seems like the Millionaire Maker, about 1 out of every 2 weeks has a Dolphin stack in it. So you got to be aware of that. And the good thing is if you do want to run a Dolphin stack, although it's getting very expensive with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Tua all being priced up. And then who do you want to run it back with? I assume probably Cooper. But I think Donovan Peoples-Jones, DPJ would be a good option just to save you a little bit of money in that stack, right? Or maybe you just go with one of the 2 receivers and go hit a Jeff Wilson. I think Jeff Wilson is really interesting, like a Tua, Wilson, Waddle, and then you just hope they take Hill out of the game, and then you could run it back with whoever you want, Cooper or Chubb. And with this total being 49 points, I don't think people are going to be in on this stack as much as they are the other ones because there's just not a lot of punt value this week, and this stack is very expensive, and because of that, I think you might be able to get good leverage playing this stack. But maybe the tricky one here is you go play the Jacoby Brissett side of it, because a Jacoby Brissett, Amari Cooper stack with maybe a Harrison Bryant or something like that, that's a very cheap stack, and now you can run it back with whatever Dolphin you want to. That could be a sneaky way to get into that game with a way that not everybody's doing it. Houston and the Giants, you can see there's some super chalky pieces. People want to play the running backs in this game, and I get it. They're both good running backs. They're both playing teams that aren't particularly good at stopping the run. But let me caution you with this. If you want to play Pierce or Barkley, that's cool. Go ahead and play them. But I will tell you, it is a very negative EV, expected value play, to play both of them versus each other. If one of them is doing well, that probably means they're controlling the game and controlling the clock, which means fewer plays. And if you have both of them doing well, that means the clock is really being chewed up, and they're going to limit each other's upside by simply each doing well. Not great, but well, right? And so because of that, I would put a rule in your lineup making to not run Pierce and Barkley versus each other. It's not a good correlation to run 2 running backs against each other in the same lineup unless one is like a third down pass catcher and the other one's like a traditional, pounded between the tackles type guy. But both of these guys are 3 down backs, and because of that, I would rather I would rather just not have them running against each other. I think they're a negative correlation play. If this is a place, anytime I can fade a 40% Dameon Pierce, I know it says 33 on here, but my statistics are showing 40. I can just do it. I can do it. I'm not going to lose sleep over Dameon Pierce beating me. If he does, so be it. There's other running backs I don't mind getting it in with. I think you could go Barkley and you'd be fine there, but they're not exactly in the same price range. But I think we'll see some other ones you'll like also. The other problem with this game is I don't really love a lot of the options. Maybe some Texans defense. I think Dorsett's going to be decently popular simply just because people need salary relief, and a $3,600 receiver is real nice when there's just no value out there. Moving on to New Orleans and Pittsburgh, you can see we've got Alvin Kamara. I mean, I think Kamara's an awesome play this week. Chris Olave, surprisingly, not very owned. I guess it's because he's getting priced up to $6,800. He's finally starting to get priced at the level of talent that he is. And because of that, maybe you cash in on it, right? It's not like he became a different receiver simply just because his price went up. He's still an elite type talent in the NFL. So in this one, that's a nice little correlation play. I will warn you that is a little expensive, but maybe you go hope that it's not Taysom Hill week, and then you go run an Andy Dalton with that, and now you have a stack that nobody's running, right? And you run it back with Deontay Johnson or somebody like that. Just to consider, but I would worry a 40-point total. Both these teams play slow. It's going to get a little sloggy. It's in Pittsburgh. This isn't a real stackable game, right? If I'm stacking in this game, I'm probably just running a 3-person stack and getting on. Let's get to probably the chalkiest game, but probably my favorite game at the same time. If I'm going to get off Detroit and Chicago, I feel like if I'm going to fade that chalk, I got to eat this chalk, right? Because there's really only 3 appetizing games: the Detroit-Chicago game, the Cleveland-Miami, and then this Jacksonville-Kansas City game. The line is 10 points, right? So there is a chance, there is a blowout potential. But even in a blowout potential, that's probably a good thing for Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne. They could still get there, right? Kirk, Zay Jones is one of the best values on here. And now instead of just playing a one-off Zay Jones, which is never really a smart move, but a correlated or a stack Zay Jones, that makes way more sense, right? If you want to run him a home stack, Zay Jones is a very logical run back, and he'll help make that lineup work, right? But I think the better play, if you want to get in this game and get in it in a way that not everybody's doing, go run the Trevor Lawrence stack, right? Go run different variations of it, and then you've got Juju and you have Travis Kelce to run it back with. Super appealing right there. I will definitely be getting in this game. I don't know if I'm just going to play some correlated pieces or if I'm going to make it my single stack, but if I'm going to fade these other 2 chalky games, I probably am going to get in here. But once again, that's up to you. Pick your stack. Pick your correlations, but don't play every chalky game. Find some ways to get in there, get different than everybody else. Man, Denver, Tennessee. some great pieces, right? Like we got some NFL stars, or at least people we thought were going to be stars this year. But 38.5 point total, that's about as low as you ever see in the NFL, right? That is a slog. And as you can see, the optimizer basically says you should play Derrick Henry, Greg Dulcich, or Jerry Jeudy. Those are the only three worth considering. But I do want to put Courtland Sutton. I know he's been horrific this year, but like he's still Courtland Sutton. He's a good receiver, and maybe Denver will realize they should get him the damn ball. So if you play Dulcich, Jeudy, and Sutton, I don't like any of those two together. But I think picking one of those three pieces, one of them is probably going to get there in this game. They have very concentrated usage there in Denver, and one of these three guys at that price tag will definitely pay it off at a very nice rate. I know Russell Wilson sucks, but like he'll get one of them there. So I would pick one of these three, and if you love Derrick Henry, that makes a lot of sense to run one of these three back against Derrick Henry. It's a perfect correlation play. Plus, this is a game that everybody's just going to fade because of that total. I wouldn't run a stack in it, but I definitely don't mind getting a little correlation in there, especially with how cheap some of these Denver pieces have gotten because they've looked like hot fucking garbage this year. Only 3 games in the afternoon slate, Indianapolis and Las Vegas. It looks like our boy Jonathan Taylor is going to be back, but like he just seems broken. Maybe the Colts are broken. Maybe the new interim coach will be like, or Jeff Saturday, even though he's going to be coaching on Sunday, we'll say, hey, it's time to get Zach Taylor going. He is a former offensive lineman. If there's ever a narrative where Jonathan Taylor is going to get 25 touches, it would probably be this week. The Raiders, as you can see, the optimizer loves all things Raiders except their quarterback, and the problem is the quarterback's the guy that has to give everybody the ball. So when he sucks, it makes it hard to play the rest of them. However, if this game could sneaky shoot out, and the Raiders have been in multiple shootouts this year, a Derek Carr stack with a Michael Pittman or a Jonathan Taylor run back is the sneakiest stack on the slate. It is. Plus, the good thing about the Raiders is they're highly concentrated. Now that we got a Hunter Renfrow out, you know that Devontae Adams and Matt Collins are going to get all of the targets at wide receiver. Foster Moreau, now that we know Waller's out with the aggravated hamstring, is going to get all the touches at tight end. So that actually makes this a really appealing stack just because nobody's going to own it. The Raiders do have a propensity to have games where they blow up, and as bad as the Colts have been, they do have some like elite talent that you could run it back with in Pittman and Taylor. Okay, I know they still got Sam Ehlinger, but maybe he remembers, he doesn't suck. No, he does suck. I guess you can't forget when you suck. Arizona and the Rams, this would have been like a mega chalk game for like the past 4 years, right? But tomorrow, nobody wants to touch this game because a 40-point total is disgusting. It does appear as though Matthew Stafford is going to be out, so they're going to go to the Wolford, I believe is how you say it, John Wolford, who the optimizer actually loves, and at 4,900, always viable. He is at home. He does have Cooper Kupp to throw it to, so that's always nice. That's a good start, right? Plus, if you have John Wolford, you can easily get Cooper Kupp in your lineup. But to me, that's more of a cash play. I feel like this game, just Arizona every week, I'm like, ooh, they could shoot out. And like, how many weeks in a row have I said that? They just never get there. They never get there. I don't think Kyler's broken. I think it's just the team's broken, which is a reflection on Cliff Kingsbury. DeAndre Hopkins has been really nice, but now that he's getting priced up to $8,000, I don't know. I don't know if I want to pay $8,000 for a guy in a game with a 40-point total, right? But I will say he is a very logical run back if you start with Wolford, because then, you can afford Kupp and Hopkins in a lineup if you start with Wolford, and it's going to be a stack that not many people are going to have. And then lastly, we've got Dallas and Green Bay. Jesus, it does look like Zeke is going to be back. So Tony Pollard is an obvious smash play where he'll be, 65 points on 65% ownership, I believe is what he got. This is just another one of those games, a relatively low total. They're going to be playing on the frozen tundra. Aaron Rodgers seems to suck this year. Dak has not looked 100% since he's gotten back. Man, look at that. The optimizer does not love Dak this week. Andy 6,600. If I'm playing anybody, it does seem as though Allen Lazard has kind of established himself as the number one receiver there. He is getting the most targets over these games. So at 6,100, I guess he makes sense. But man, I don't know if I want to play a naked Lazard. I'd much rather play him in a stack. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm not playing Aaron fucking Rodgers stacks. Get out of here. Get out of here with that. So because of that makes this game very unappealing. I might go grab like a naked Robert Tonyan because there's just not a lot of great value this week at tight end. As you can see, the optimizer thinks that the best tight end play this week is Travis Kelce. No surprise. Foster Monroe is really nice. Greg Dulcich. Those are your top 3 by a mile. In case you want to see your top ones, your top wide receivers are Kupp, Cooper, Amon-Ra. No, so really those 3 really good receivers are up there. What a surprise. Optimizers for running back ETN, Pierce, Barkley. But here's what really matters. Go look at leverage. Nick Chubb, look at that leverage. Look, because no one's going to play Nick Chubb. And then lastly, who's the quarterbacks that are going to be up there? Justin Fields, Case Keenum. The optimizer loves them. Of course, Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna give you Trevor Lawrence and Derek Carr, someone different to think about. That breaks down the slate, guys. These have been my final thoughts. Hey, I do all of this for my Discord. I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow. I give them the Rosetta Stone. If you don't know what that is, you definitely want to come check it out. Go check out my Patreon, which will get you on the Discord. And also, go give me a follow on Twitter. If you don't know, I'll never big dog you. If you want to reach out with a question, I'll always respond. I'm not one of those guys that takes myself too serious and thinks I'm above responding. I appreciate every single one of you that watch and help me grow the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment to get in that multiple $100 drawings next week. I hope you kick some ass tomorrow. I hope you come check out my content. But most of all, I hope you enjoy my outro, you motherfucker.